Supply, demand, or technology? What is the big bottleneck of the energy transition? Well, most likely it's people, because too few people choose technical studies to fill all the vacancies we have in this industry, and too many people currently working it don't have the skills of the future. Can we solve it all by outsourcing it all to ChatGPT and robots, or do we need something else? Here to explain is Margot van Soest. Ja. Hi Margot, goedemiddag. Kom hier. You're the managing director Netherlands and Spain of SThree. You are a global STEM staffing specialist. You have several brands. One of them is progressive recruitment. But you were going to discuss the looming staff shortages in the oil and gas industry. And is it just is a disaster waiting to happen, or is there something we can do about it? SThree, progressive, and the offshore industry. What do you do?
Yeah, well, as you already mentioned, we're a global STEM staffing specialist. So we operate in 14 countries globally. And we operate with Netherlands with 7 brands. And the one brand that specializes in engineering and has a good track record in the maritime and offshore industry is Progressive. So today we're here with a stand on behalf of our Progressive brand.
Yeah. When we talk about the staff shortages coming, we have an aging population. So many people will retire, so we have staff shortages everywhere, specifically in STEM, because many people want to become a lawyer or a politician. They don't want to do something technical. Specifically offshore, because people do it a while, then think, oof, that's too much seasickness for me. I want to go back to shore. So we basically have a lot of looming problems coming together.
Well, luckily, there are also people who don't need to go off-site and at the platforms. There's a lot to do within this business. So yes, if you look at the stats, they're actually quite shocking. If we look at the International Energy Agency, they predict that we will have an extra 40 million jobs coming up with the rise of the renewable energy possibilities. So yes, there is a challenge. So that's something we do need to face.
What are these jobs? Are they the traditional blue-collar jobs or white-collar jobs?
Both, but what we're specialized in is more the white-collar. So what we see happening is project management skills, all these kinds of expertise to actually execute the complex projects within this industry. That's what we actually looking for. What we also see is that within this industry, there's a highly skilled industry. So a lot of our professionals that we operate with, they have a high education, which also means in terms of reskilling, upskilling, we need to make sure that they actually fit for purpose for the job they want to apply for.
This 40 million jobs that we need, is this really worse than in other sectors?
We do see that we're in a transition, so we also we're facing a net zero transition, so economy we're moving towards too. Particularly also in this sector, what we also see is that it's an aging sector, so there's a lot of people who've been in the industry for a long time. That combined with the lack of new talent entering the market in the more technical areas, it's a combination of things that we're looking at. So it's the lack of the right skills, because we're moving into a new area. It's a leaving of the aging population and the lack of talent. So it's a combination.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start with the influx. New people. We have these campaigns at schools for years. Choose STEM, especially girls. Do it. Being a lawyer is super boring. The energy transition is booming.
Yeah.
Why isn't it working?
Yeah. It's obviously as mentioned, a highly educated industry to work in. So what you need is the skill sets to be able to do so. I think what we also see is lack of talent moving in. Is the exposure to what the opportunities are. So we also need to make sure that people know what they can do. I think it can be very, it can feel unachievable if what needs to happen. I think it's about small step engaging the new staff, the new talent into this market.
Do we see first results? Are more people choosing STEM? Are there new people, or is it?
The good news is that what we do see is within the industry that it is an attractive industry, so the renewable is something that the new population definitely has appetite for. So we do see there's progression, but still, even if we would have more new talent entering the market, there's still so much to do. It's a new skill set that we need to do, so it's a transition from moving to a net zero economy, which brings new skills. There's just a lot to do.
Is this a Western problem, or are there hundreds of young, gifted people in Nigeria, India, South America, eager to take our jobs?
It's absolutely a very international operating industry. So for sure, I think if we would be able, and I think we are a global company and we see the benefits of being a global company. So I've got Corné here in the room who's specialized in the maritime offshore, and he definitely works on a more international level with our clients. But yes, it is, I think, a global challenge that we're facing.
Okay, so also we're not going to be solved by lots of bright, gifted people.
No, because it's a new skill set. It literally is people need to learn new things, which just takes time as well.
Okay, well then the other solution, digitalization, ChatGPT, self-programming robots, they can do it.
They can actually fill that gap for quite a bit, so that's absolutely the exciting part. I think we can, with all the automated technologies, there's a lot that we actually can deliver. But as with any topic, when we talk about AI, or there's a human touch needed, so you will always. And it is also something that I think, if I think about what I want to present today, it's about the importance about attracting and retaining talent. So it's not just about finding new people, it's about maintaining, retaining your staff. And we've done a research where it actually shows amongst 2,500 STEM specialists that there are concerns about the use of AI, there are concerns that people feel that they're losing their jobs, which shouldn't be, because there's enough work to do. So I think my advice to all the employers would also be mindful of when you're talking about using automated technology, because you might run the risk that people fear their job and will move to another business, whilst that's not needed, because you will need these people.
Okay, so we have people retiring, we have people with the wrong skill set, we have not enough new people coming in, and not enough AI to take it all, so we have no alternative than to do more with less or the same people.
Yeah, effectively. I think that would be, for me today as well, the key message, to think about your strategic workforce planning, to think about what do you have, what are the transferable skills, what are the skills that you need to invest in, because that's how you can start planning your workforce strategically and think about where you need to think about certification. I think we're working with one of our clients, Offshore, where when we work together to find the right professionals, we invested in the DWO certification to make sure that these people are actually fit for purpose for this role. So I think you need to understand what your workforce looks like to be able to move and plan ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so two key ingredients of that are reskilling and upskilling. What is it and how does it help us?
Well, reskilling, if we look at, there are skills which we actually can transfer. So if you look at all the people who have been working in this industry, a lot of these skill sets and expertise, particularly in this market, you can reuse. So you can actually use some of the transferable skills that are there. But they're also, if we're moving, for example, with the whole renewable energy, that's a complete different market that we operate, and you need to upskill. So people need to gain extra expertise to be able to be productive in this industry.
If you can design or maintain a gas pipeline, you can do a hydrogen pipeline, same.
Well, I'm not the expert, so there are probably experts in the room who would dispute this very much so. I would also dispute it, because there's a lot of different skills needed for the... it's a very high-skilled industry, so, and mistakes can be quite big if you make a mistake with doing the wrong thing. So it's quite important that you actually know what you're talking about.
But not everybody, especially if you get older, is everybody capable of upskilling?
That's a good question. I think, again, that's why the strategic workforce planning and understanding what the key drivers are of your own staff is crucial, because you need to understand who's got an appetite to do this. I do think this change, we hear quite a lot of excitement about moving in this renewable energy area. So I think there's a lot of people actually keen to develop, learn, and see how they actually can use their skill sets. But that is definitely, if we look at the aging population, there might be part of that population that doesn't want to do. Doesn't mean that the whole population will still have the traditional oil and gas for at least another 10 years, I assume. So it doesn't mean that the whole population needs to. But again, from a people perspective, it's important that you actually understand who would be interested to move along, where can you actually stretch people, and plan your strategic workforce.
If we, can you give an example of a success, how an organization can reskill their employees?
Yeah, I think what I just mentioned, the HSM example, where we actually provided the DWO certification. It's sitting down with your partners in this situation and understand what is it that you need, what are these people going to do, and how can we support you in this journey. So I think it's important that all clients understand what they need to do. So it's an analysis of your current projects and your future projects. And I think referring to what we earlier spoke about with the new talent, it's also about engaging with the new talent in the early stage. I think if you engage with new talent in this market only when they graduate, you're too late. So you need to be in there when they're in their third year, understand what drives them, what they want, because we also see a shift in what new talent wants. It's not the same. When I started working, I had different drivers than the new generation. So it's very important that you are, as an employer, very close to the new generation of your workforce.
Stereotype is if you 20 years ago, you worked for an oil and gas company because it was steady income, well paid, good benefits, nice pension, and a beautiful watch if you worked there 25 years. The Gen Z, they want to ride unicorns, make the world better, have 3 days whenever they want. That's what drives them?
It's a very black and white statement, but I do think if you look at, it has changed the landscape. So the bigger names usually traditionally easily attracted talent. I think that has changed. People do think it's important to understand what the purpose is and how they can contribute, and actually what is their employment. I do think it's very important that you understand how you come across to your new talent. But what we also see shift, like over the last couple of years, what we've seen is that the talent was more looking for the purpose. Now we see there's actually more an increase in job security. I think it's a consequence of the world that we're living in. So there's a lot happening in the world. And what we see in the survey we've done, where people now actually rather prefer the job security over a pay rise. So people want the stability and they want to know what they're going to do in the next couple of years. So we do see a shift.
Unicorn, I just want to be able to afford a house. Yeah, that's
for the next coming years,
yes.
Not just today.
But also, when we talk about diversifying, there's the image of oil and gas platform where the only women to be found are naked on a calendar. Is this sector inclusive enough, and what should they be doing to be more inclusive?
Well, I think if you look at the facts, it's a more male dominated industry, but there is a huge need for the diversification, to get more diversity in and get more women in. So that's also, our clients are requesting it as well. So it does mean work needs to be done.
But what you see during Pride Month, all these companies have a rainbow logo. That doesn't really do the trick. What do you do to become inclusive?
Well, I think what I said in terms of the purpose part, where people really want to commit to a company where they actually see what they're doing, they can actually align to. That would be the same in a diverse environment. Show what you do, not just make sure that what you say is also what you actually do. And I think, particularly if you look at the gender balance, engage with these students in early stages, not just engage with them when they graduate. Make sure that you, in the early stage of their career, understand what they're looking for.
Yeah, and in the Netherlands, we also see that STEM is a pretty wide thing because many people with a migrant background, their parents tell them, I didn't break my back in the industries for you to also work in the industry, become a lawyer.
I think that's, in honesty, maybe I'm too far off to be able to give a factual statement about this, but I do think it's a very attractive industry. It's highly educated. The projects that people are working on have an impact on actual daily life, so it's very impactful. So I think the STEM industry is actually turning into a very sexy industry to work for.
Sexy industry. You already mentioned a few times the key to handling, because we can't solve the problem, but we at least can handle the problem, is strategic workforce planning.
Yep.
If I want to do this, where do I start?
What I just mentioned, I think everyone needs to start looking at what is my population. Literally look at what are the layers that I have within my organization. What skill sets do I currently have, and what skill sets do we need if we look at the near or longer term future? And that's where you need to start figuring out what of the skills are transferable, so which skills can we actually use and actually keep these people into the same roles or move into a role that we need. And where are you going to be focusing on in attracting the right talent? So I think you need to be very clear on what you need and how you're going to implement this.
If I still need some help doing this, where can we find you?
We're in the stand just around the corner, and obviously you can go to our website or have a chat with me.
Thank you so much, and good luck sexifying this industry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Margot van Soest.